And good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Drink with Rick on the Saturday Night Winestream. I'm Rick, and tonight we are going to open this bottle of Chelsea Goldschmidt. This is a 2016 Merlot, and I'm kind of excited about opening this because I've never tried this before, never tried it. I'm going to try it for the first time. Haven't even had a tasting of it. Just picked it up, and I don't think I've ever had a tasting of it. If I did, I don't recall. I really don't. But I'm going to try it for the first time tonight here on the Winestream live, and we'll see how it goes. The reason I'm excited about this is because it's been a while since I've had a really good Merlot. And as a matter of fact, it's been a little while since I've had a Merlot period. And I'm eager to try it out because I love Merlot. And if you go to my website at drinkwithrick.com and read my bio, you'll find that I do like Merlots and Cabs and Zins. And we did try a Zin last week, and I liked it. I really liked it, and it seemed to pair very well with the foods that we tried. You can go back and check that out if you'd like, or check the podcast out. Of course, you can watch the live stream here live tonight. We're trying our new time at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope everyone got the word and is joining us tonight. You can check us out at, of course, Facebook. On Facebook. I think we have a lot of people on the chat on Facebook. And I'm going to acknowledge everyone here in just a moment. You can also check us out on our Facebook page, Drink with Rick. Facebook page, as well as YouTube, and I'm checking to see, looks like YouTube is up and running, and we have, I think we have a couple of people watching there. So I hope you join in the chat there, and I will certainly acknowledge you in the chat. Also, we are on Twitch, and I think, let me pull up my Twitch page, but I hope I didn't lose it somewhere. Where is it? It is, maybe I didn't, no, here it is. There it is. And I have the chat up there, so I'll be checking Twitch as well throughout the stream. And so don't be afraid to join in the chat there as well. You can, of course, also watch live at drinkwithrick.com. That's drinkwithrick.com. And, of course, you can always comment. You can comment on Facebook and Twitch and YouTube, but we don't have a comment section on the website right now. But you can certainly comment in the comment section below the post. And, of course, you can contact me at rick@savoyamedia.com. That's rick@savoyamedia.com, as I have right down here in the lower third. Let's see, what else? You can also catch the podcast later. If you missed the wine stream, you can watch this later here, and you can also catch the podcast at drinkwithrick.com. Let me go ahead and acknowledge everyone in the chat who's joined me mostly on Facebook. Betsy's in the chat. Hi, Betsy. It's great to see you. It's been a while since I've seen you. I hope you're doing well. Hope the family's doing well. And I want you to hang around. Stick with us for a while. And we should have a great time tonight. We have a really packed show here. Got a lot of stuff we're going to cover, and a lot of birthdays to toast, and anniversaries, and days, and all kinds of things. It's going to be fun. Scott has joined us. Scott, it's great to see you. Great to see you, Scott McClure. And Seven Jars has joined us here, and I really look forward to having you. Tell me what you're drinking, or tell me what you'd like to be drinking. I talked about Seven Jars in a little bit as well. I have talked about Seven Jars before on a number of occasions, and I think I'm going to mention them again tonight here. Jonathan's in the chat. Jonathan Snyder is in the chat. Good to see you, Jonathan. And Pete, my cousin Pete Weiermuller's in the chat as well, and it's good to see you both. We've got a little surprise for Pete coming up here. Chi, my beautiful wife Chi, has joined us in the chat, and it's great to see you. And Chi made this lovely, this wonderful dish that I'm going to be pairing with this wine in just a few moments as soon as I'm opening it. And I'm anxious to eat it because I have not had dinner tonight, 10 o'clock, have not had dinner, so I'm looking forward to trying out some of these foods with this wine. Hello, Jonathan, right back at you. And Courtney has joined us in the chat as well. Courtney, it's great to see you. She says, hey, Rick, and hey, Courtney. I'm glad that you were able to join me in the chat tonight, and stick around and drink right along with me, because that's what we're here to do, to drink with Rick. And let me see, I have no one going on in Twitch, but I am watching Twitch and I am watching YouTube, so I'm keeping an eye on all of that. Let's go ahead and talk about this wine a little bit, because I'm really excited about checking out this wine. This is a Chelsea Goldschmidt. This is a Guidestone Rise. It's Alexander Valley Merlot. This is from Alexander Valley. This is a California wine, and it's Sonoma County. And this, there's a lot to be said for some of these California Merlots, really, and I think that they are underrated and have had a bad rap sometimes in the past, although I do love a good Merlot. But this one, this is a very interesting wine. I'm going to read a few of the technical notes that I found on it, because I went to the website of the vineyard, and apparently this is a 2016. It is 100% Merlot. Now this is why I'm really excited to drink this, because I have had so many Merlots in the past that were sort of a blend, Merlots and some other wines. This is 100% Merlot, according to the winemaker. It is 14.5% alcohol by volume, and I'm going to talk about this how they age this here in just a moment. Let me get a shot of the back end, and I'm going to read what I have here on the back as soon as I can pull that up. There we go. Let me read this. This is Chelsea Goldschmidt Guidestone Rise. This is a 2016 Merlot, Alexander Valley, Sonoma County. This Merlot shows a bond that shows similarities and differences. It is Nick's collaboration with his oldest daughter, Chelsea, who was brought up around wine and vineyards. Much like Chelsea, this Merlot, made in a Cabernet style, resonates with power and elegance, a wine to be drunk around a quiet dinner table or a raging party. Where have I heard that before? I think, okay. This is cellared and bottled by Goldschmidt Vineyards in Healdsburg, California. 14.5% alcohol by volume, which is interesting. Yeah, that's fair. Which is, I think, is kind of an average on a lot of the Merlots and the Cabs that I've had in the past. Usually between a 13.5%, 14.5% Merlot or a Cab, whatever, depending on the wine. It's either one has been in that range, so it should be pretty good, interesting wine to drink. I want to say that it is, according to this, it's the aging 60. It's in 100% barrels, oak barrels, I guess. 60% French, 20% American, 20% Hungarian. 12 months in oak barrels. So this should give it quite an interesting flavor, I should say. Apollo has joined us in the chat. It's great to see you. Good to see you in the chat. Thanks for joining us. We're going to open this up now, because I'm really, really excited about opening this bottle of wine. And to do that, now, of course, the last couple of weeks, we've had twist caps on these bottles. This week we don't. This week we're back to using my contraption here, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to open it up right here. Get the foil cutter out. Okay, and I love this contraption. It's a lot of fun. This is my opener here, my corkscrew, fancy corkscrew. This is one that she purchased for me. She got it from an estate sale, and it actually came from an Aldi in, I think, in England or Great Britain somewhere. And I guess the original owners brought it here and then sold it. She picked it up for $5. I love this thing. Now admittedly, I have broken one bottle on this with this thing. It's a little awkward to do it at this angle, but it's really nice. It's a lot of fun. Let me move this bottle out of the way so I don't have an accident with it. And we'll get rid of this. We'll get the cork out of here. Set that aside. I love this thing. It's a lot of fun. And to serve with this bottle of wine, I have this. It is some pizza. I have a couple of cheeses. I have a beer. Beer sausage, which is a beef beer sausage, some crackers, and a little bit of olives. I'm not sure if the olives will go well with this wine, but you know, I have had these olives. Now these are garlic stuffed olives. I have had our olives with Merlots. I like the olives with the Merlots, and it might sound a little weird, but I do like those. She thinks I'm a little weird for eating all those garlic olives anyway. They generally keep their distance from me when I do that because I guess it doesn't smell that great to them or something. I don't know. But, and of course to pour it, I've got, I almost forgot let me go ahead and put it in my aerator. This is my Veneto aerator. This comes from the Veneto Wine Lovers set. And this is available from Amazon. That you can buy it by itself, but you can also buy it as part of the set, which comes with a lot of other cool stuff. And the set is $19.99 from Amazon, and you can, if you're interested, if you like this, you can purchase it from I have a banner and a link on the website at drinkwithrick.com where you can actually purchase this from Amazon for $19.99. Of course, if you do that, a few cents goes to me and supports this show. That would be great. You don't have to do it, no obligation there, but I'm just saying if you can to support the show, that would be great. And of course, I'm going to pour it into my genuine Cooper's Hawk, genuine crystal wine glass from the Cooper's Hawk Winery and Restaurant in Orlando, Florida. And we're going to go ahead and pour this. Let me get a wider shot on this so you can get a good pour on it. And we're going to let it breathe a little bit. We have the aerator here, but we're going to let it breathe a little bit for a minute or two. Because with these Merlots, sometimes with a Merlot, you kind of want it to give it a minute or two to out in the air before you drink it, before you try it first. Give it a couple of minutes, and that will help get the wine going, get some oxygen there into the wine. While we're doing that, I checked this wine out, and on wine.com, I found it on wine.com for $21.99 a bottle. This is the 2016 Merlot. I also found it on, let's see, where else did I find it? I found it at Wine Searcher. Wine Searcher had it listed at least one place in North Carolina here for $24.99 a bottle. It's $25 a bottle for this wine. And let's see, I believe looking at the, Vivino has it for $21.99 a bottle. But I purchased mine from, of course, Wine Store. If you watch the stream regularly, I like to go to the wine store. We have a wine store in Blakeney, North Carolina. That's winestore-online.com. I have the receipt here for it. And, that's the receipt for the last batch of wine I bought. Okay, here we go. Here's the right receipt. I have the receipt for this one, and it is the Chelsea Goldschmidt Merlot, $16.99 a bottle from winestore-online.com. So we've seen it for up to $25 a bottle across the internet. I haven't really seen it any lower than that, except for winestore.com. They seem to have the lowest price on it, and I think that's sounds like it's going to be sounds like it's a good price for this wine based on what I've seen price-wise across the internet, and that's very good. I am going to go ahead and give this a taste. We'll get back to the chat in a moment, but I'm going to give this a little bit of a taste. A little whiff first. Whoa. Very, very fruity. It has a nice bouquet, very fruity. and I can smell the black cherry. I want to say there's a little bit of little blackberry in it as well. Okay, this is definitely a Merlot, but I'll tell you what, this is not like some of the Merlots I've had. It's oaky. It's oaky, but it tastes somewhat matured. Has some black cherry and I taste a little bit of raspberry in it. I'll get back to to chat here in just a minute because I think I don't know, we may have lost the. Did we lose the feed? Here we go. Facebook has been having trouble with these streams here all day. I was watching another live stream earlier today, and it just kept cutting out, and I don't know where that was coming from, but hopefully, let me know if it cuts out on you. Let me know because I definitely need to know that right away. Probably a bandwidth issue there. Anyway, getting back to the wine. Because I just heard my audio cut out here for a minute or two, so I just want to make sure you guys are still with me. And anyway, getting back to the wine, like I was looking for, $24.99 a bottle is the highest price I saw there. Where was I? Oh, that's my train of thought. Okay, I think we were tasting this wine, right? Yeah, definitely the black cherry, blackberry, little hint of raspberry. A lot of berry in this wine, very berry, as I like it. It's somewhat, it's tannic, but it's not really very tannic. When you get a lot of tannins in the wine, it's like your mouth. It's not real chewy or anything where you got, the chewy tannins where they just kind of. Your mouth's so dry after you swallow, your mouth becomes so dry that you just kind of feel like you're trying to get some saliva back in your mouth. But the tannins are there, but it's not real tannic. It's sort of a mild medium tannin. It is full bodied. It has a decent finish to it. I can taste on the end of it. I can taste has kind of a smoky taste to it, and I can taste a little bit of I don't know, maybe a little bit of plum in there. Yeah, it's kind of. A lot of fruits in the beginning of it, and then it kind of ends with a little bit of a little smoky finish. But I do like this wine. But see, I kind of expected this from a Merlot because a lot of the Merlots are very, very. I want to say I was expecting it to be really, really jammy, and I wouldn't say it's real jammy. Maybe just a little bit. But it's not overly jammy, which is okay because I'm good with that. Some people like jammy wines. My sister Gina, I think she likes jammy wines. I am not. I don't like it too jammy, but it's okay. It's okay. Let's get back to the chat a little bit. And I'll pour a little bit more, and then we're going to pair it with some food. Let's see. Pete says, what? No Amish butter cheese? No, sorry, Pete, not this time. Maybe next time we go up to Shady Maple, maybe we'll bring some back and try it with this wine. I have had Merlots with the Amish butter cheese before, and I tell you what, the Amish. If you've never had Amish butter cheese, it is the Shady Maple serves that up there in Pennsylvania, and. I fell in love with it the first time we went to eat at the Shady Maple years and years ago. they had it there, and I just couldn't get enough of it. I mean, literally, I couldn't get enough of it. I kept going back to the buffet and getting that, which is probably not too good for me pound wise, but it really was. I just fell in love with that cheese, and it just literally melted in my mouth. And I thought, I have to try some of this with a decent wine, and we did. Now, Pete and Denise came down to visit us and brought back some with us. And in fact, I think we went up there and we bought some and brought it back with us time before that, a couple pounds of it. And I did try it. It didn't I mean, I didn't get to finish it before it started going bad because we have brought back like so much of it with us. But I ate as much as I could with the wine. And if I remember, I had it with some Merlots and some Cabs and a Zin, I think. And it went pretty well with all of them. I liked it. It was a really, really good cheese. Got off on my tangent here, but that's what I do. That's what this is. This is a stream of consciousness kind of show, and you just never know where my mind will take us next. But I will say, let's try pairing it with some food right now before I get too deep into this bottle. We're going to try it first. Now, this is supposed to pair pretty well. Let me look it up again. According to the winery, this is supposed to pair pretty well with. And to be honest, I was up on the winestore-online.com website, and there really isn't any information on this Chelsea wine, so I had to go directly to the winemaker, to the vineyard, to their site. And according to this, it is supposed to pair well with some, let's see, I think it's supposed to go well with some meats, and light meats, and some cheeses, and pizza, things like that. We're going to try it because, as a matter of fact, my wife, Chi, purchased a slice of pizza for me. She got this from our local Harris Teeter supermarket here, and they make a pretty decent pizza. They really do. It's not bad. But I'm going to try it with a little pizza and see what it's like. And I'm making a saw of myself, aren't I? So the pizza is a little bit cold, but it's okay. And I like this. Works pretty well with the cheese and the sauce. Not to say I'm not real crazy about the sauce that they put on this pizza. It's okay, but it works pretty well with both. In fact, I think I'm going to have another piece of this. Another bite. Not bad. I like it. This goes well with pizza. I like it. I think pizza is a good pairing for this wine. Let's go back for the chat for just a minute. And Jonathan, tell me what you're drinking. And Scott, I know we're going to go talk about 7 jars in a minute. But Scott, tell me what you're drinking, if you're drinking anything. If you're not, if you're in a good place to drink, join me. I like that very much. We're going to try it with some other cheeses because it's supposed to go well with different kinds of cheeses. And Merlots generally will go good with things like a Gruyere. I can't pronounce it anymore. Gruyere. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. A Gruyere. I don't know why I can't pronounce it tonight. I've had it many times. I do eat that cheese from time to time. Chi purchases it sometimes. A Gruyere, I don't know, for some reason I'm a little tongue-tied. It's too early, I think, with this wine. But it's supposed to go pair well with that. It's supposed to pair well with, I think, a Camembert and some Gouda and a lot of different other cheeses. This is actually a good cheese wine. It really is. And I've had it with a number of cheeses. I've had it with cheddar, everything from cheddar to Gouda to, I've had it with everything from cheddar to Gouda to, what else do we have there? Different jack cheeses and just mozzarella, provolone. I've had it with provolone cheeses. It's really good. I've had this with pastas. Well, not this wine, but Merlots. I've had that with pastas. And Merlots in general go good with a lot of different cheeses. And one thing about cheese is that it tends to, you get the cheese in your mouth and it tends to kind of coat your mouth a little bit. And then when you drink the wine, it just makes it a little bit. I think if you have a really tannic wine, it'll kind of soften the tannins once you eat the cheese. So if you have a really, really tannic wine, and you have that with the cheese, it'll kind of soften that tannic effect, and it just makes it a nice sweet, not sweet, but a nice blend. But Merlots go pretty well with a lot of cheeses. I do have a Gouda here. I don't have a Camembert. I don't have any Gruyere. I said it right this time, I think. But I do have some Gouda. And we're going to try that. Oh, I like that. And definitely. Oh, wow, that's sweet. Let me have another piece of that. This I don't know where. Where did you get this Gouda from? Had it for a while. Was it Trader Joe's? I think this was a Trader Joe's Gouda. Yeah. I'll pour some more of this wine to go with it. Oh, I liked it. I tell you what, if you like Gouda cheese and you like Merlot, you've got to get this wine. Get this wine and you get some Gouda cheese. And this Gouda cheese that came from, I think it was Trader Joe's, right, Chi? She's still watching. But yeah, I like that a lot. Oh, that's very good. Very good. I enjoy that. Yes, Chi says Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's came from Trader Joe's. Thank you, honey. Appreciate it. And we're going to try with some Monterey Jack. This is a Monterey Jack cheese. Also goes pretty good with the Jack. It does. I'm going to have a little cracker here to clear my palate a little bit. And we're going to have some more wine. And then we're going to toast birthdays. Betsy, if you're still with us, tell me what you like to drink. What's your favorite wine? Tell me what your favorite wine is. If you have any recommendations for wine, let me know. I'll see if I can try it out. Now, Betsy's local. She's a neighbor of ours down the road. So if you have a local wine that you like, let me know about it, and I'll probably be able to pick it up and try it. Okay. I'm going to try this one more time. I'm going to try this with the beer sausage. And we'll try it with that. It's okay. The thing is about the beer sausage, it's not too spicy. This is not a really spicy sausage. It's okay with it, but I tell you what, I really like the Gouda pairing with this. This is good. I like this. So, let me check. Oh, yeah, okay, let's see. Valley Hounds, let's see. It's good to see you. He's joined us in the chat on YouTube, and he says, was only $3 at Aldi. Now, were you talking about the contraption, the bottle opener? I missed that. And that's $3 at Aldi. Okay. Or were you talking about the wine? You know what? To be honest, I think I walked into an Aldi once. I think a while back, and it was when they first started popping up around Charlotte, and I've never really. Okay, Valjean says John is drinking Mickey's. Oh well, I don't have any of those, but yeah, well. Let's see. Where was I? I lost my train of thought. Let me go to Twitch for a moment. Looks like we lost the Twitch. Looks like we lost the Twitch feed. Let me see if I can get it back here. All right. I don't know what happened there. We lost the Twitch feed. I don't know what happened there, but we're at least still on YouTube, and we're still on Facebook. I'm gonna have to check out what happened with Twitch there at some point, but not right now because I'm gonna have to drink some more of this wine, and I've got some birthdays to toast. I want to, and yes, I am keeping track of YouTube. So Valley Hounds, I'm watching you on YouTube. Let's see, birthdays. We have a few birthdays this week. And one birthday that I want to toast, first on the list, Pete. My cousin Pete Weiermuller. Pete's birthday, he just turned 60. Is that okay for me to say that, Pete? It's okay? Turned 60 years old. I know it's not becoming of a gentleman to ask what a lady's birthday is. I'm old school, okay? I'm an old guy, so I came from that era. It wasn't polite to ask the ladies how old they were. But guys, that's a different story. But Pete just turned 60. Now, I turned 60 in February. That's where you don't have to drink to me because it's that was a while back, and I prefer to forget about that anyway if I can. Let's just say I'm still 50. We'll just go with that. But no, I'm actually 60. But Pete is 60, and I want to say happy birthday to Pete. And there's a toast to you. And you know what, Pete? I think I'm going to toast you twice because 60 is a milestone. It really is. 60 is a milestone. I know because I've been there, done that. But here's to 60 and here's to many, many more years. Happy birthday to Pete. And also, I want to, for my friends Mark and Kathy, I've talked about them many, many times before. Mark and Kathy do the house concerts down the street. They're neighbors of ours. They're good friends and they're neighbors. And they make wine. They make their own wines. And I love their wines. They come and they give me a bottle every once in a while, and it's great. I love it. In fact, I still have one down in my wine cooler that I have not opened that I was supposed to open. He told me, last time they came over, and they had given me that bottle of wine, I think a year prior to that. And last time they came over for dinner, he said, you still have that bottle? You should have opened it already because that wine isn't really supposed to be kept for too long. It was a dessert wine. And I think, oh, no, I was saving it for a special occasion. I'm still saving that bottle of wine because you know what? When somebody gives me a bottle of wine, especially a good friend of mine, I have a tendency to want to kind of keep it. It's just something that, it's something special to me. When somebody gives me a bottle of wine, it's kind of special. It means something, and I've been saving that, and he told me that it was probably past. Probably I should have opened it 6 months earlier, but one of these days, maybe for Thanksgiving, we'll have him over and we'll open it up and take our chances with it. We'll see, but it should be okay. Anyway, I got off on a tangent. That's what I do on this. This is the wine stream of consciousness. And the more wine I have, the longer that stream of consciousness gets. And I want to say happy birthday to their daughter, Maggie. Mark and Kathy's daughter, Maggie. Very, very, very sharp lady and very accomplished. Both their kids are really, really just amazing. Some of the things they've done and accomplished in their lives so far. But Maggie, I want to say happy birthday to you. Here's to Maggie. And another birthday that I want to acknowledge, I want to say happy birthday to my friend Eric Castro. And Eric and I go way back, back in my IT days, and during the time that I was doing the Forceville podcast and that sort of thing, and Eric Castro, he worked for a couple of different companies there we've been Facebook friends for a long, long time. And admittedly, I haven't really kept up with him as much as I should, and I apologize for that, Eric. But I want to say I found out it was his birthday today, and I want to say happy birthday to Eric. Happy birthday. But I want to say that Eric's a good guy. Eric's a really good guy. I like Eric. And I want to acknowledge a few other things here. I want to give the anniversaries. So those are birthdays, but the anniversaries, I want to acknowledge anniversaries to two of my friends, my podcast friends, and old guys, what they call the OGs, old guys of podcasting. And they actually started podcasting about a year before I started. They started podcasting a year before I did. And a year and a half before I did, actually, almost 2 years, but a year and a half before I did. Rob Greenlee and Todd Cochran. Rob Greenlee is he was with, now when I first met Rob basically online, he was working for Microsoft Zune, I believe, and that's when Zune was around. And then he moved on. I think he was working for Spreaker and Voxnest for a while. And now he is with Libsyn. Libsyn, who happens to be who has happened to have been a host of my podcast on the Force Field for a number of years. And Rob just joined them. And Rob has been a podcaster for a long, long time, almost since the beginning, pretty much almost since the beginning. He is celebrating his 15th anniversary as a podcaster. September 15th, I believe, was his 15th anniversary as a podcaster. And Rob, I want to say happy anniversary. Happy anniversary to Rob. Rob's a really cool guy, and he's been very helpful to me over the years for special issues when I early on when I had when I was getting my podcasts up on Zune and some of the other marketplaces. And I want to say, Rob, here's to you. Happy anniversary. He is definitely one of the OGs. He's very knowledgeable in the podcasting space. And I also want to say happy anniversary to my good friend Todd Cochran. Todd, who I can't really say enough about, actually. His anniversary was October 4th is when it was his podcast anniversary. 15 years also for Todd. And Todd was really started early with Geek News Central. And I've been a long time listener and a fan of the Geek News Central podcast. And he is also the CEO of Raw Voice and Blueberry.com. Blueberry, which we've been both Tommy and I have been on the Blueberry Network, podcast network. And Tommy's also, actually Tommy, he hosts his show, the Q Command podcast. He hosts his show on Blueberry. And that's who hosts his podcast. And he's really been happy with Blueberry. They helped him a lot. The people of Blueberry are just fabulous. Mike Dell and the crew down there are all really, really good people. And it's interesting because Rob also, he is the hosts the podcast awards, the original podcast awards, and I talked about this before. But Todd does the People's Choice Podcast Awards every year. He's been doing that for 14 years, I believe. And he's put a lot of his own sweat and tears and money into it. And he's really put a lot of work into it over the years. He's done a fabulous job with it, by the way. And Todd also has helped me on a lot of different occasions with my podcast. He also does the Tech Podcast Network. He's been doing that for many, many years. And that's how I first met him. Because I joined the Tech Podcast Network when I started the Force Field podcast. And I did some stuff with him. He'd go off and do the Consumer Electronics Show every year with his crew, and I couldn't do the Consumer Electronics Show. I'd stay behind, but I did help him a couple of years remotely on doing some stuff that was related to CES and getting their videos out and things like that. And I would host their CES live streams and reviews and feeds on my Force Field website. So we go way back. Todd and I go way, way back. And he's a really good guy, very knowledgeable about podcasting. He's a good go-to guy for that. Rob and Todd do a show together called The New Media Show. And every week they talk about podcasting, what's going on in the podcast space. These guys are both very, very knowledgeable. They're very, very... They are the go-to guys for podcasting, and if you want to know about the real history of podcasting, these are the guys to talk to because they've been there. They've been through all of that. Podcasting is becoming a pretty big thing now. It has been over the last year or two, and it's becoming bigger all the time. And I have my thoughts on that. I'm not going to get into that tonight, and I know I kind of went over long with this. For those who are not that interested in podcasting. But I just want to say to Todd, happy anniversary to you. These are two people that I do respect a lot in the podcast space, in the podcast industry, because they do know their stuff. And if you want to know more about podcasting, these are the guys to talk to, really. They are. I also want to say that Todd has really helped my son Tommy out in the past. When Tommy had his end of school, kind of like the term paper when he was graduating from high school, and he had his final end of school project that he had to do, and Todd came to his assistance easily to work on a project involving podcasting, and Tommy aced it. He aced that project easily. They were very, very impressed with it, and I think it helped him get some scholarships. That he's going to college now, the scholarships, and I think that project kind of put him over the top to help him secure those scholarships. And Todd was instrumental in helping him make that happen. But so I want to say once again, thank you, Todd. Appreciate it. That was much appreciated. Let's see. We have some other national days I'd like to toast. So I have to refill my glass for that, right? And the chat's a little quiet right now. Everybody says, why? I don't know what they're doing. But let's check Facebook. Valley Hound says, happy 48th, Courtney. Best Tai Chi instructor ever. Courtney, you are a Tai Chi instructor? I did not know that. It's something I did not know about you. Courtney, are you really a Tai Chi instructor? Seriously? Because I know. I that's going to put me on another tangent here. Tai Chi, really, Courtney? Tell me, because I took some Tai Chi. I did that for a while when I was younger, before I married Chi. Before Chi and I met, actually, it was about the year before Chi and I met. I took a Tai Chi class for about 3 months, and it was an excellent class. I lost some weight. It was very, very healthy for me. I learned how to breathe. In Tai Chi, they teach you breathing techniques, for one thing. And I learned how to, not that you can tell right now, but I learned how to breathe more from down here than up here. A lot of people breathe from up here. They really teach you how to breathe from down here. And a lot of different moves I learned. And to be honest, I can't remember half of them all, but I have been wanting to take up Tai Chi again at some point because I enjoyed it. It was very, very relaxing. At the same time, it actually helped me lose some weight and get it toned my muscles up a little bit. And it's a martial art, actually. Tai Chi is a martial art, but it's a little bit different from some of the martial arts that a lot of people are thinking about. It's not like something like Kung Fu or something like that. It's a lot more graceful. It's a more graceful art. Anyway, let me get back to the chat here just a minute. Jonathan says 2015 Jeunesse Dargil. Okay, that's what you're drinking, Jonathan. That's what you're drinking. And you know what? I think, didn't we open a bottle of that sometime back? I think we did. Good wine. It's a very good wine, Jonathan. I'm glad to see. You know what? I should toast you just for drinking that wine. That's a good choice. I have had that wine. It's good. Very good. Jonathan says Côte de Rhône is an excellent wine. Yes, we reviewed that a few weeks ago on the wine stream, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Let's see. Pete says, oh, thanks, Rick. And Tim has joined us in the chat. Tim, it's great to see you. Tell me what's going on with you. You know, Tim and I go way back to Channel 35, and I mentioned that before. Tim's kind of a regular here on the wine stream. It's good to see you here. I'm glad you're here. And his daughter is... I've been following along. Hey, Rick. Tim says, hey, Rick. Now your daughter is an Instagram influencer, right? And Tim says, thanks for going earlier. Yeah. Well, I know it was by popular demand, Tim. Thanks for being here. Actually, thank you for being here, and I do appreciate that. But yeah, we're going to stick to the earlier time now. I think just by popular demand. I think you and a lot of other people were requesting that. Jonathan says, "Thanks, Rick." Yeah, Jonathan, you know what? I think we're just going to stay with the 10 p.m. Time. Frame. I think my wife Chi will be happy about it too, because she often stays up, tries to stay up for the wine stream, and then she gets to where she's like, well, I can't stay up any longer, and she falls asleep. So oftentimes I'll come out of the studio later on and find that she's been long asleep, and I'm thinking, I think I started this stream way too late at night. So I think we're in a good sweet spot now. Let's see. National days. Let's see. National days. Oh, I've got them right here, as a matter of fact. Normally I have them up on screen, but the national days are here. I want to talk about some of the national days that we can toast. Today, and this is kind of, I want to make a point of this because we have a dog. I don't know how many of you have dogs, but today is National Fetch Day. National Fetch. I had no idea. We've had a dog for over a decade, and we had no idea there was anything called National Fetch Day. Now, we play fetch with our dog. We don't really call it fetch. We just, the dog's name's Cosmo. He's really Tommy's dog, but he's kind of a family dog too. But Cosmo loves it. He's a cockapoo. Cosmo's a cockapoo. I think I have a picture of him here somewhere. And he loves to play. And let me see if I have a picture of Cosmo somewhere. I thought I did. I did at some point. Here we go. This is Cosmo. When he had a lot more hair. He just had a haircut. A few days ago. Went to the groomer. That's a bad word in this house. You know, I say groomer, and he starts to shiver because he doesn't like the groomer. But we take him down to the Pampered Paws down here locally, and they're good people. They've been taking care of him for years. But Cosmo is a cockapoo, and he is a sweet dog. He can be a little fussy, but he's a really sweet dog. He'll cop an attitude every once in a while, but he's most of the time he's just a sweet dog. Follows you everywhere, and he's just so eager to please, as cockapoos are. But he loves to play. I mean, that's his thing. If you don't play with him, he gets upset. He really gets upset if you don't play with him. So we make a point to try to play with him every day. And there he is in this shot. This is with his ball, one of his balls. He loves to play ball. He has favorite toys. He has a lot of toys, but he has his favorites. He has several toys that the ones that he looks for all the time and he likes to play with, and he loves to play fetch. So this is Cosmo. I spent a little bit of time playing with him today because it was National Fetch Day. So I spent a little time playing with him today, and so did Tommy. But he looks a lot different now in that photo because the haircut. That's just why I'm laughing. But he's a good dog. He's a really, really good dog. Yeah, he's just really sweet. National Fetch Day. Let's drink to National Fetch Day. For National Fetch Day and for our buddy Cosmo. Cosmo is also kind of a star of Tommy does a lot of his videos. He makes a point to, whenever he can, to feature Cosmo in his videos, give him a little cameo. And Cosmo has become kind of the star of some of his videos, more or less. People love Cosmo. Everybody loves Cosmo. What else we have here? National Youth Conference Day is tomorrow. But today is National Kentucky Day. It's Kentucky. It's a state, right? National Kentucky Day. And National Sweetest Day. Now, sweetest, not Sweetest. National Sweetest Day. I'm not sure exactly what that entails. I didn't really delve too far into that, but I'll drink to it. So tomorrow is National Youth Confidence Day. National Brandied Fruit Day. Okay, National Brandied Fruit Day. If you have fruit that's brandied fruit, like a peach brandy or a apricot brandy or something like that, I'll drink to that. I don't have any brandy. I'm not a really big brandy drinker. My dad did. He drank towards the end of his life, especially. He had to have his brandy. It was a little sad in a way because he loves his wine, but he also loved his brandy. He'd have his wine in the evening, and he'd have his brandy, I think, in the afternoon. He had to have his brandy every day. National Brandied Fruit Day. And on the 21st, which is Monday, I believe, National Pumpkin Cheesecake Day. I love pumpkin cheesecake, by the way. I'll drink to that. There is National Reptile Awareness Day. I'm not big on reptiles, especially snakes. I do not like snakes. I've got a couple of stories about snakes and alligators I could tell you about. National Clean Your Virtual Desktop Day. Okay, I'll definitely drink to that because I think we all have to take some time out to clean our virtual desktops, right? I did that a little bit today. And I ran a virus scan on my computer, and it said it came up and said I had a couple of Trojans on it, which was a little bit surprising because I try to keep it pretty secure. But when I looked at the actual files that they were in, there were actually files that were archived that were basically false positives. So I feel pretty safe about that. Yes, just because you run a virus scan on your computer and it comes up with very oftentimes it is an actual virus or some malware, but sometimes you can run a scan on your computer and it can come up with a false positive, or it's something that's flagged as a virus and it's really not. That was kind of the case in my case today. Being an old IT guy, I could kind of tell the difference, so I was like, okay, not a big deal. But it is something you want to be aware of. You don't want to panic, but when you get run a virus scan on your computer, and everybody should do this periodically, run a virus scan on your computer. Just because you have antivirus software on your computer doesn't mean you're safe. There are a lot of different types of malware, a lot of different types of viruses, and I don't want to get into the long thing about that. But run a virus scan on your computer. You should, just because you have an antivirus program on your computer doesn't mean that you're safe from viruses, that you're safe from malware, that you're safe from Trojans and things like that. You need to run the scan. You need to run the scan periodically. Because oftentimes by itself, just having the program running, it'll catch some stuff, but it's not going to catch everything. And sometimes things get through. You want to run a full scan on your computer every once in a while, periodically, to check and make sure that it's virus-free. And even then, these virus programs, as good as some of them aren't going to catch everything. No, there is no antivirus program that's going to catch 100% of everything. Okay? That's just a fact. They can't. There's no way. There are too many of them out there. So what you want to do, though, is you want to have something. That is no excuse not have anything on there. Now, say something like Windows Defender, which basically comes with Windows. If you have that, that's a starting point. You want to have some other antivirus programs like the ones I would recommend would be like Trend Micro or something like that. And I was a Trend Micro dealer for many, many years. You want to be careful of some of these other, like McAfee. Never was a big fan of McAfee. Got stories about that. Maybe one of these days I'll share those. But the fact is, you want to have an antivirus program that do your due diligence, check around for something that is reputable and that you can trust, and then run a virus scan on your computer every once in a while. Just don't just install it on your computer and then forget about it. That doesn't work. That's not how they work. You can't just install it and walk away. You have to install it, and then you have to set it to run scans periodically. And then you also have to kind of keep an eye on your computer and see, if it starts acting funny, if it starts doing funny things, run a scan, check it out. You also have to keep the antivirus program updated, because if you don't keep it updated, some of them will update automatically, but if you don't have that turned on, if you have it set to where it's a manual updates, or if you don't have it set to update at all, it's never going to update. So just having an antivirus program on your computer is not going to protect you if you get some new malware that it doesn't know about because it hasn't been updated in 6 months. So update your antivirus, install a decent antivirus program, keep it updated, run a scan periodically, and just kind of watch your PC, and be careful where you go on the internet. Be careful where you go on the internet. Those are some quick tips. Now see, this is where my stream of consciousness is taking us now. I'm going way off script, way off. Not that there's a script per se, because there isn't, but I do have some show notes, and it's taken me way off script from those, talking about antivirus programs. But I think that's important information that everybody should have. Let's see, what else we have here. Let me check the chat again. Courtney says, getting back to what I said earlier, because I was asking Courtney if she does teach Tai Chi. Courtney says, I do teach it, Rick. I teach a class for arthritis and fall prevention. Come visit up in Elkin and join me. Well, I might just do that. I might just do that one of these days because, I really want to get back into Tai Chi. I loved Tai Chi. It was a lot of fun. And it really does, it teaches you some very, I don't want to get back, because I already talked about that before, but it does teach you some very, I think some very good things about breathing. A lot of it's breathing exercises. Courtney says it may be a little slow for you, but it's fun. Courtney, I'm 60 years old. Is it really slow? I don't know. But, I'm not geriatric yet, but I'm not exactly a spring chicken. I'm not exactly, it's funny because Tommy took Cosmo for a walk yesterday, and he and I couldn't because I was busy doing some promotion for this show, by the way. So he took Cosmo for a walk yesterday down the neighborhood, and he says, well, you want to come with us for the walk? And I said, okay, well, I've got to get this promotion done, and I'll catch up with you. I told him I'd catch up with him. So about 10 minutes later, I'm done doing with what I had to do, and then I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can catch up with him if it's not too late. So I started out the door, and I realized he was probably on his way back with the dog. So I said, let me see if I can make up some time. So I started jogging down the road. And I am not a jogger. I do not run. I do not jog. I power walk. I do power walking, but I am not a jogger. But I made it down the road and around the corner and around the curve. I was surprised. I made it all the way down to meet him. He was talking to one of our neighbors at the time, and I made it all the way down the road and down to the corner, and partway down that road, the next road, to meet him, to catch up with him, and I didn't lose any. I was not out of breath. I was just jogging lightly. I wasn't running, but I did not run out of breath. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't believe I did that. Because I'm the kind of person where, I don't exercise as much as I should, but I was expecting my heart rate to be just really through the roof, and at my age, at 60 years old, to be through the roof, and I wasn't. I didn't break a sweat. I wasn't feeling faint or anything. I was fine. I was just jogging and went around down there, and I thought to myself, my goodness, that's weird. Didn't expect that. So maybe I'm not as out of shape as I thought I was. Maybe not. And I'm not. Once again, it doesn't give me incentive to go jogging anytime soon. That's just not my thing. But I'll have to say that I was really surprised with myself at how well I kept up with that. And you know what? And I think some of that might be due to some of the breathing exercises, some of the breathing techniques that I learned when I took Tai Chi, because I was kind of practicing some of that. There's some breathing exercises that you do, and maybe that helped a little bit. I don't know. But Courtney says it may be a little slow for you, but it's fun. And you know what? I might just take you up on that, Courtney, because I really need to get back into that. Chi and I, when we first got married, we took a little jujitsu and judo from a friend of ours, a neighbor of ours, that he taught martial arts to the local police department in Orlando. And we took some lessons there for a while. I got as far as being a yellow belt. That was about as far as I got. you know, Chi and I got to get our yellow belts, and that was as far as we went with that that project. I think that was about the time Chi at some point got pregnant with Tia, and then she kind of had to stop, and then it was all downhill Cinnabons and overeating from there. Let's see. Ed and Mary Strickland have joined us on the chat. It's great to see you. I don't know if it's Ed and Mary or Ed or Mary, but they're very, very old friends of mine. We went to church together way back when I was a teenager. I've known them for a long, long time. It's great to see you in the chat. Thanks for joining me, and stick around. Stick around. I had to have a little more of this wine. Pete says, just a reminder, Denise's birthday is Tuesday the 22nd. Tip your glass for her too. Well, I'll do that. You know what? I kind of go forward with this. So what happens is that I would technically, officially toast her on next week's wine stream, but I'll do it now. I did not know that. Happy birthday, Denise. That's my cousin Denise up in Pennsylvania. Happy birthday, Denise. This is for you. I'll tip my glass to you. Sharon's joined us in the chat. Sharon, it's great to see you too. And I hope you're doing well. Sharon and my cousin Kathy. And I really, they have two great daughters. I haven't seen your daughter since they were little. It's like little, but I know that they're all grown up now, and they've got their own lives, that's. I tell you, they grow up so fast, don't they? Don't they, Sharon? My son Tommy, and my daughter Tia, they just. 1 minute they're little babies, and the next minute they're just all grown up. And Tommy is actually working tonight, by the way. He's closing. He's working at Target, and he'll be home in a little while. I think it's about almost time for him to get to start on his way home. Now he's driving himself, so it's on his way to start driving home, and about now. So I'll tell you, he was. They just grow up so fast. It's just unbelievable. Courtney says, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. you will be far ahead of the class. You could probably teach it. I don't know about that, because I'll tell you what, Courtney, it's been, let's see, 26 years since almost 26 years since I took my initial Tai Chi class. And I can still do a few of the moves. But I have to refresh my memory on some of it. It's been a while, but I can still do the breathing. Chi says, happy birthday, Denise. And once again, happy birthday, Denise. So Ed says, oh, hi, Rick. Ed here. Okay, great. Ed, it's great to see you. I'm glad to see you in the chat. I've been following along with you guys and keeping up with what you're doing. It's been years since I've seen Ed, and it's an old friend of mine, from, like I said, from way back, from church, and when I was a teenager, a young teenager, and Ed was always a nice guy, just a really nice guy, and a lot of fun to talk to. I always enjoyed. It's funny. When I was, a lot of people in my church that I used to enjoy seeing every week. But Ed was one of those people that I really, really enjoyed, that I made a point to stop by and talk to, and enjoyed talking to him. And he was just a really cool guy. So Ed, you know what, Ed, here's to you, by the way. And I know you two have been married for many, many years, and that's that's a testament. I don't know when your anniversary is, but I tell you what, that's a testament to a long, happy married life. Because I remember when you two got married. So, Courtney says, like riding a bicycle. Yeah. Well, you know what? I think that one of the reasons why I'd like to go back to the class is so that I could get back on and try to relearn a little bit, because it's been a while. It has been a long while since I've done some Tai Chi, and I need to get back into that sort of thing. And that might actually be good for my daughter, Tia, because Tia tried some Taekwondo. Tia and Tommy both, they tried doing Taekwondo for a while. And I don't think that she could really get into Taekwondo, but I really think that actually for Tia, I think that Tai Chi might actually be a good thing for her, and she needs the exercise. I think it would be good for her to get out, and I think that would be a good thing for her to try, is to try a little Taekwondo. Taekwondo, what am I saying? Tai Chi. All right, now I'm tying one on, right? I think it would be good for her to try. So I'll talk with Chi about it and see if that might be something that, and I'll talk to Tia about it, see if that's something that she might be interested in doing, Tai Chi classes, because I really enjoyed them. Courtney says we can go visit some local wineries here in the Yadkin Valley, not nearly as good as the ones you drink here, but fun anyway. I'm up for that. I'm definitely up for that. And Ed says 41 years. Seriously? 41 years? Ed, you and Mary, 41 years? Wow. It's been that long? I mean, I can remember, wow, I was a teenager. I was like 15, 16 years old. I think when you and Mary were met at church, and that was, yeah, it probably sounds about right. 41 years. Well, you know what? I've got to make a special toast to Ed and Mary Strickland. 41 years. Happy anniversary. Whenever it is, I know it's probably not now, but look, I've got to toast that anyway. Definitely worth toasting. 41 years. Congratulations. I really hope, especially in this day and age, when there are so many marriages that don't last. Oh, wow. Some of these marriages don't last. There's some celebrities that marriages don't last for 6 days, 41 days, right? 41 years is quite an accomplishment, and I hope you two. I hope you two celebrate your 50th soon, and so on and so forth. I mean, that's amazing. 41 years. Congratulations to both of you. That gives me hope. That really does. It gives me hope. You're welcome. Let's see, who else is joining us in the chat here? Let's see, someone else come in. Sherrod was here. I know I saw him. And then I saw Gary. Gary's in the chat. Oh, my good friend Gary Mellon. I miss you guys. You know that? Gary says, hi, Rick. I finally retired after nearly 35 years at Channel 35. Gary and I go way back. Gary was one of the engineers, worked in the engineering department at Channel 35. And I worked there. I worked at Channel 35. This is WOFL in Orlando for 12 years. And Gary was one of the engineers there. Our engineering department was second to none. I'm going to tell you this right now. I mean, you had WSH, Channel 2, and Channel 9, and some of the other the local stations there, Channel 6. But I'll tell you what, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, my professional opinion, the engineering department at Channel 35 in Orlando was second to none. Absolutely second to none. And these guys made it. Bob Pollock, Gary Mellon, All these guys made they made that engineering department. They kept everything going. They kept us on the air. And Gary, here's to you. Hi, Rick. Finally retired after nearly 35 years at Channel 35. Gary, congratulations. I did know about that. I've been keeping up with that. And I want to say happy retirement. Congratulations on your retirement. 35 years. I will definitely drink to that. And I did. And I'll do it again. You know, Gary, that's, the funny thing is I picked up a little, I guess you would call it an idiom from our general manager, Norris Ritchell, from years ago. He used to say at our meetings, he would say something, and he would say, he would end it with, "And it is." You remember that? He would make a point about something, and he would say, "Oh, this is like, say, for this is a good wine," and it is. And I picked up that idiom from him. I don't know if to call it an idiom. It's a little something they say, And Norris had a great influence on me. He was a great influence on me. A really good guy. Gary says, "Thanks, Rick." Thank you, Gary. Gary kept us on the air many times. He probably at certain times when we probably shouldn't have been on the air because things went down and they go down, and it's just I was always really impressed, and I always really admired the engineering department at Channel 35 because they could, if something happened, if there was some sort of catastrophic event or something, and they would really work hard to get us back up quickly. And I always admired them for that because I was the kind of person, I was afraid of that sort of thing. It was not something that I know it was not something that was easy to do a lot of the time. And these guys, I don't know where to begin, but I tell you what, one person that was part of the department also that worked with Gary and Bob Pollock and there's other guys with Bill Casto. And Bill Casto is a very old friend of mine. And he actually lived out at the transmitter out in Bithlow. And something went down. He and his wife were out there and his daughter. And if something happened, something went south with the station, like the transmitter went down for some reason, and if Bill was working, if he was on the shift at the station, he could call his wife and she could go out there and fix it. If he wasn't there, he was out there at the transmitter and he could fix it. He could get it back up online. Pretty amazing. I mean, this whole team, these guys were just amazing people. They really were. And Bill, of course, came up to Charlotte years ago. And the thing is about Bill is that he worked at, I think it was working at WCNC, I think, up here. But I didn't know he was up here. When I moved up here, I had no idea he was up there, and then I joined a ham radio club up here, W4CQ Ham Radio Club, and Bill was a ham, and Gary, you're a ham too, as a matter of fact, I believe, and Bill was a ham radio operator, and I ran into him at the meeting, and I'm like, it was amazing, and we spent a lot of time catching up. Chris Wolf, our promotion manager and program director at Channel 35, he was up here. He was working up here in this area at the time, and the three of us got together, and it was great catching up with Chris Wolf because Chris was one of my bosses at WOFL, and it was just amazing getting together with the two of them and catching up on old times. And I think Chris moved. I'm not sure exactly where Chris went at the moment, but Bill Casto, he and I remain friends, and he became Tommy's mentor when Tommy got his ham license. And Bill passed away a few years ago. A few years ago, he passed away, and it was I really miss Bill. He was a really, really good guy. You know what? I'm going to say, here's to Bill. Here's to Bill Casto. A really, really, really cool guy. And excellent ham radio operator who went, as they say, silent key several years ago. He is missed. And I'm just thankful that my son Tommy got to meet Bill and got to get to know Bill. I'm really thankful for that. Anyway, I got off on another tangent again, didn't I? Because that's what I do on this wine stream. It is a stream of consciousness. Let me check YouTube. Let's see. Boy, I missed a few things, didn't I? John has Mickey's B branded on his cuff. Okay. John just wants to go by Mickey's from the good point forward. Thanks to Matt Snyder for copious amounts of great wine. I'd say thank you, Matt. Matt's not here in the chat with us tonight. I think he's isn't he out camping or something this weekend? I thought I saw something about Matt camping. Matt's a regular here also, and he's also one of the co-owners of the a wine store. And I think he went camping or something this weekend, didn't he? But I want to say yes, thank you, Matt, for all these copious amounts of wine. Very good choice. Excuse me. Very good choice. Let's see. What do we have? Twitch is down. I don't know what happened to Twitch, but it is down. Anyway, so let me go back to where were we? Oh, yes. I want to give a quick shout out to the Facebook groups while I'm here. I joined a few Facebook groups on wines, which are pretty interesting. I didn't know there were that many. I should have figured, but I didn't know there were that many Facebook groups on wines. Fine Wines Buzz is a Facebook group that I recommend you joining. That's run by Evelyn. Evelyn, she's the owner and the moderator of that group, and nice person. And Fine Wines Buzz has been kind of an interesting group. I've been following along a lot of the different things going on there in that group, and I've learned a few things over the last few weeks that I've joined. And I recommend, if you like wine, that's a good group to join. Fine Wines Buzz. The Drink Wine group is another one that I've joined, which is another interesting group. And How to Pick a Wine, that one I just got approved to join last week or so. That's one run by Frank, and I want to give a shout out to Frank and to Evelyn for their Facebook groups. I've been learning a lot of different things, a lot of things about wine. Once again, I am an everyman. I am not a sommelier. I am not a professional wine connoisseur. I'm a professional. I'm not even a professional wine drinker. I'm just doing this for fun. But I'm a professional, but not for this. I like wine. I'm an everyman who likes wine. And I think that 99% of us out here, that's what we do. We like our wines. We're not professionals. We just know what we like to drink, and we know what tastes good, and we know what we like to drink with certain things. You know, I was actually in the Wine Buzz the Fine Wines Buzz website, and I think I was looking over, or was it the Drink Wine group? It was one of the two groups, and there was someone who posted something about they were adding some certain foods to a certain wine. They had a different food there with a wine that they liked to eat with the wine. And I was thinking to myself, well, it's not something that I necessarily would have thought of that would pair well with that particular wine. But you know what? A lot of it, some of it, yes, there are a lot of professionals out there that will say, you've got to pair this wine with this food. You have to pair this wine with this food. That's what it goes best with. And that's okay. That's okay. That's quite all right. But you know what? Everyone's palate is a little bit different. Everyone's tastes are a little bit different. And as I mentioned earlier on the wine stream, here I am with this garlic olive. And I'm eating this garlic olive right now. And I'm going to have it with this Merlot, this Chelsea Goldschmidt Merlot. And I like it. And I would say that I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for you because you might not like this. You might not like garlic olives anyway. That's okay. That's quite all right. You might not like Merlots. That's okay. It's fine. But for me, for my palate, for what I like to do, I will sit here and open a jar of these olives. And as my wife Chi can attest to, I've done that on many occasions. I will open up these olives, and I will have this olive with this Merlot. And you know what? There are some of these sommeliers that will cringe and say, "What are you doing?" But I like this. I like these olives. I like this Merlot. And you know what? On my palate, I'm okay with it. So, at the end of the day, now there are some wines, yes, there are some wines that I wouldn't drink with certain foods. I mean, like for instance, the same olives I have tried, or basically the same olives, I've tried with some of these other olives. Yeah, I've had a little bit much. Some of these other wines. Like for instance, some of these Grenaches. The Domaine de la Jeunesse. The Tesselae. Some of these things I probably wouldn't. I would say, no, I don't like. And I actually have, on the wine stream. I've opened up a few of these. Jovino and a few of these others that I've actually tried with the garlic olives. And I would say, no, not a good choice. But to be honest, everyone's palate is different. It really, really is. I mean, yeah, there are some things that don't go well with this and don't go well with that. But there are some people that will say, you know what, I'm going to eat this and I'm going to drink that together, and I like that. That's what I prefer, and that's what I'm going to do. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. And I know the sommeliers will cringe. The professionals will cringe when I say that. As an everyman, I would say if you find a wine that you like that goes with something else that you like, that you pair with, that you can enjoy drinking with, even if it's something that people say, I don't, this is not, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. It's not a good wine. This is not a good pairing. If it's something that personally you like for instance, peanuts. I would drink a Merlot. I haven't tried this one with peanuts, but my wife, she makes a great roasted peanut. And there are folks in the neighborhood that are always asking her to make her roasted peanuts. And I've had the roasted peanuts with Merlots and Cabs and Zins and Grenaches and things like that. And there are a few of them that I thought, well, they weren't that great. But there are others that I had the peanuts and I had the wine and I thought, oh, wow, this is a good pairing. I like this. Personal taste. It's personal taste. You know, not everyone likes... You know what? There's some people that love eggplant. My wife loves eggplant. She loves eggplant. To me, eggplant's gross. I cannot stand eggplant. I cannot eat eggplant. I can't. It's just not my thing. Does that mean eggplant is bad? Does that mean you should not eat eggplant? No, of course not. It just means that my wife loves eggplant. That's what she likes. She likes it. That's fine. That's good for her. You know what? If she wants eggplant, and if I have an opportunity to give her eggplant, I'll give her eggplant because that's what she loves. I don't want to give her what she loves. Me, I can't stand it. I cannot eat eggplant. It's nasty to me. Slimy, gross. I don't like it. Okay? But that's just me. Just because someone likes a certain pairing or someone doesn't like a certain pairing doesn't mean that someone else might not like it. You know, as bizarre as it may seem. So who are we to judge? Like, for instance, if I can't... I know there are some obvious things. There's some obvious things. Okay? I'm going off on another tangent here, but let's do this. This cheese. This Gouda cheese. Okay? As I said earlier, I love this Gouda paired with this wine. It is really good. I enjoy it. And I'll say it again. This is a great pairing. This Gouda with this Chelsea wine, I think it's a great pairing. An excellent pairing. But what if you don't like Gouda? What if you can't stand Gouda cheese and you love Merlot? You love Merlot, but you can't stand Gouda cheese. What are you going to do? Well... That's your taste. That's your palate. I can't say that you have to have this Merlot with this Gouda cheese. And I'm like, I like it. It's very good, but it doesn't mean that everyone else is going to like it as well. So that's what when it comes to food pairings and yes, there are the professionals and the sommeliers and the wine snobs, okay? And I'm being flippant about that, I know. But what it comes down to is if you like a wine, if you have a wine, and that's why I'm getting back to the Facebook groups, if you have a wine that you like that pairs well with a food that you like, and it's a combination that you like, that's fine. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about what other people think. Don't worry about what the professionals say or what they think. Don't worry about what the sommeliers think. You know, it might be cringeworthy for them. If it's something that you like, go for it. I say go for it. Just do your thing. Do your thing. Enjoy it. That's what it's all about, right? Pete says, have you ever tried eggplant parmesan? I'm not a big fan of eggplant either, but when made into a great parm, it is good, especially with a nice bottle of Merlot. You know what, Pete? I can't stand eggplant, but you know what? I would be willing to try it with a Merlot. I would be willing, if it was made just right, I'd be willing to try it with a Merlot, and who knows, maybe it could turn me. Maybe it could change my mind about eggplant, as long as I'm drinking that particular Merlot with it. And then, you know, it's funny. You think about, well, if I tried this pairing, I could enjoy that pairing, but only if I have this bottle of wine with that with that food. Otherwise, I wouldn't touch that food. I don't know, but it's a good point. It's especially with a nice bottle of Merlot. Yeah, I'd be willing to try it. I'd be willing to try a lot of these things. I would. Anyway, I got off on a tangent here. I know it's getting late. I promised my wife that I would cut it off early, and I didn't. So there were a couple of things I wanted to get to. I wanted to get to this, the Podcast Chronicles. I got this from Podfest. Podfest is an event that we go to every year. Tommy and I go to every year as podcasters. And I want to say that they put out this was a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting this. This was a little flyer, a mail out that they did. And I guess they're doing it as a regular thing now, which is cool because I'd pay for a regular mail out of this sort of thing. But I came home the other night, and she says, "Did you see this? Did you see this?" I'm saying, "No, I'm looking at it now." But and she says, "Look what's on this page." And I'm thinking, "Well, what's on the page?" I looked a little closer, and it turns out that they featured drinkwithrick.com. They featured the Drink with Rick podcast on the Podfest Chronicles, which I was really impressed with. I really appreciate that. But I don't know if you can see it very well, but there it is right there. Drink with Rick on the Podfest Chronicles. And I want to say thank you to Chris Kremitzos and John Dennis, who are the founders of Podfest. And thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Featured as new podcasts that have come across since Podfest. Here's the story on that, the backstory on that. I did this. Drink with Rick started out as a one-off, just a lark, a wine stream, a live stream that I did to open this bottle. It's way in the back, you can't see it. A new Cabernet from Target. They call it the Collection. And it was kind of like my sisters and their friends were saying, I wonder what's that taste like. I mean, it's a Target wine called the Collection. What could that be about? So I thought, well, why don't I buy a bottle and I'll do a live stream and I'll open it up and review it. So that we had 400 people show up for that, the initial wine stream. That was the very first wine stream that I did. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. Well, the next week, I thought, we went to Podfest the next week, and I thought about it, and I thought, well, you know what? Maybe I should make this a regular thing. And I bounced it off a bunch of people at Podfest, including people like Rob Greenlee and Todd Cochran and some other people there that are podcasters, and they said, "Why don't you just go ahead and make that a regular thing? That's pretty cool." So I thought, okay, I'll do that. So when I came back the next week, that's when the wine stream officially really kind of started. Was the week after I got back from Podfest, excuse me, and. Wine's kicking in. Yeah, I know. So they featured me in the Drink with Rick podcast on the Podfest thing, saying these are shows that have started, new podcasts released since Podfest. And I thought that was pretty cool. One other thing, too, is that Tommy is, believe it or not, is something that I noticed that Tommy, you can't really see him too much well here, but he's actually on stage here in this photo. Tommy's on stage there for his Cube Command podcast. And that's really, really cool. So, anyway, that's the Podfest Chronicles. We're planning to go to Podfest 2020. We're looking forward to that. We really are. Podfest is sort of a family, it's kind of a podcaster family sort of thing, and we really we've really embraced that, and they've embraced us, and it's just been Podfest has been a great experience, really. So we're planning to go to Podfest 2020. I've put in a thing to speak there this year. I don't know if that'll get approved or not, but I have put in a they've asked for speakers, and I've thought, well, maybe I'll speak there this year. And actually, they asked us if we would be interested in speaking there last year, and we kind of declined because we really wanted to just enjoy the experience of Podfest. But this year, I might just do that if they will accept the speaker application. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, Tropical Storm Nestor. I just want to make a quick note of that because I am close to Florida. I have a lot of ties to Florida, and I have a lot of family down there, a lot of relatives. And Tropical Storm Nestor kind of surprised a lot of people. It just kind of came up in the Gulf, all of a sudden, and came through today, and very early this morning, tornadoes and a lot of rain and that sort of thing is coming up here. We're getting a little bit of rain here from it in North Carolina, and we're probably going to get a little bit more overnight and early tomorrow morning, as it passes through the Northeast. But just want to make a quick mention that if you don't have a weather radio, get a weather radio, and you can get one from bytwowayradios.com. By Two Way Radios, which for full disclosure, I work for By Two Way Radios. We offer a 5% discount off weather radios and pretty much any radios. If you enter the promo code WINE SHOW, that's the promo code. 5% off on that if you enter the promo code WINE SHOW. And that's something that you can use to buy a weather radio or an FRS GMRS radio if you're a hunter, fisher, or if you're into camping or hiking or anything like that, and you need an FRS GMRS radio. Or if you have a boat like Pete does, Pete has a boat, you need a marine radio, airband radio if you fly a plane. If you have a business and use business radios, I've been to a number of retailers where they use business radios, and Wine. Let's see, what is it? Total Wine. Total Wine uses Motorola radios a lot, with the earbuds, and they use them quite a bit. The Motorola radios. Anywhere where you can use radios, if you're a business, personal, whatever it is, you can get 5% off if you use the promo code WINESHOW. Just because you are a participant, you are part of the family here on the Saturday Night Winestream. Drink with Rick. Drink with Rick, you get 5% off with Wine Show. I just want to let you know about that. And speaking of which, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about just for a moment for a close up. I've been doing of course, I am the product manager for bytwowayradios.com, and I do a lot of the videos. We do a podcast. We do the Two-Way Radio Show podcast, and I do a lot of videos for By Two-Way Radios. And I was working on a project. I was working on a video for some time ago for a Motorola radio, DTR 700. and I was putting together a video for this radio, and I set it down for several months. Because mainly because I got sidetracked with a lot of other projects I was doing, because I'm kind of a one-man band on that, and I do a lot of I wear a lot of hats there. So I was doing a lot of different things, and I put this project down, and my boss said, "Well, you need to finish this video." Yeah, been meaning to do that for a while, but every time I started to pull it up and start working on it, something else would come up, and I'd get sidetracked with that. So it was one of those things where I'd like work on it for, I'd pull it up for a few minutes and look at it, and then I'd put it down and work on something else. But during the last couple of days, I went ahead and I said, I got to finish it. I have to finish. I don't like to leave things unfinished. So I had to pull up this video, and I said, I have to spend a little bit of time to finish this video. So I did. I finished it, and I put it out online. You can look it up on YouTube if you want. It's a DTR 700 video. And I'll have to say that it was, the reason I'm mentioning this mainly is because we're talking about show notes. I work off of show notes. This is a stream of consciousness kind of show, and I don't script it, this particular show. But I do work off of some show notes because it's important to have some notes to kind of keep yourself in line, kind of keep things going, kind of keep things in line. And I initially created a storyboard for this video that I put it down for 3-4 months. And then when I came back to this video, and this is how important notes are, I came back to this video after 3 or 4 months, and I said, okay, I've got to finish this thing. What was I doing? Where was I? What do I have to do? After 4 months, I couldn't really remember what I was doing with this video. And fortunately, I had a storyboard. In my office, I had it storyboarded out in my office, and I had some notes on it. And I had to refer to that. I had to study my notes and my storyboard, and I think, okay, let's go back and remember what I was doing with this thing, and what I was trying to envision. And when I finished the video, I realized, I went back and looked at my notes, my original storyboard, and I thought, okay, this is almost exactly the way I originally envisioned it. And this doesn't happen very often with some of my videos, because my videos often will change. As I come up with different ideas and I do different things with it, I'll often change a lot of things with it. But for the most part, and I did change a few things with the video, but for the most part, I have to say that this was one of the videos it was very short. It's only a 1-minute video, very, very short, very terse. But I would have to say, of all the videos I've ever done for By Two Way Radios, this is probably the ones that I am the most happy with. Not because, not because I particularly accomplished anything with it, but because I looked at it and I said, this is exactly in line with what I originally envisioned with this video, with my original notes. It just kept in line with it, and I was really, really when I looked back and I played this video for the first time for myself before I posted it online, I thought, wow, this is exactly what I had in my head originally, and I was very, very happy with it. It's one of the few videos that I've really been, that I've ever produced that I've been extremely, that I've said, hey, this is what I want it to look like. Now, it's not exactly what I want it to look like, but it's pretty darn close. It's the closest. And so I've been very, very happy with this video. Now, whether it will go anywhere, I don't know. I don't think it'll go viral or anything like that. But I'll just say that what it comes down to is if I had not done my due diligence and have not kept my show notes, and if I had not storyboarded it in the first place, if I had not done any of that stuff, this thing would have been a total mess, because I would have come back to it 4 months later thinking, what was I thinking? What was I doing? But because I had taken notes, because I had mapped it out, because I had planned it, then it turned out the way it was. Then dropping it and then picking up 4 months later and finishing it in a couple of days, I felt like, you know what, there's something to be said for notes. Always take notes. That was my takeaway from it. Always take notes. Keep notes. Keep a journal. Whatever it is, that if you have a plan for something, if you have an idea for something, write it down. Write it down, because I don't know how many times that I have come up with an idea for something that I've come up with an idea for it, and I've started something, and I've set it aside, and I pick it up months later or sometime later, and I'm like, I don't remember exactly what was I thinking, and then it never turns out exactly the way I had originally envisioned it. It's something completely different. So my takeaway from that is, whatever you're doing in your job, in your it's not really a rant. It's just some wisdom for a 60-year-old guy. Write down when you come up with an idea. When you've initially come up with an idea, no matter what it is, just write it down. Write it down right then and there, because if you don't do that, and you come back to it later and you try to put it together, it's never going to turn out exactly the way you wanted, and you're not going to be happy with it. You're not. So just as soon as you come up with something, write it down. Take notes. Follow your notes, and I think you'll be. When you're finished with the project, you'll be much happier with it. Really, that's just my takeaway. That's just my thing. Anyway, so that does it for the wine stream this week. I know we've gone really, really over, and I wasn't trying to do that. But I've got my show notes, and I've stuck with my show notes tonight. I want to tell everybody that it's been a great experience. Doing the wine stream is always a great experience. I always enjoy my time with you guys, and I hope you enjoy your time with me. I don't know how many of you have still stuck it out. You're still here. I say kudos to you. I want to say thank you to everyone who's joined me in the chat. I want to thank Betsy and Scott, and Jonathan, Chi, Courtney, Apple, Pete. Who else is here? Tim, Ed, Mary, Sherrod, everyone who's joined me in the chat, and Valley Hounds, and just everyone who's joined me tonight for the Saturday Night Wine Stream. Thank you for your time, because it is much appreciated. And tonight, once again, we've been drinking the Chelsea Goldschmidt. This is an Alexander Valley Merlot. Very good Merlot. I'm impressed with it. $16.99 from winestore-online.com. $16.99. Other places you're going to find it for up to $25. $21.99, I think, on Vivino. $25 a lot of other places, but $16.99 I think is a very good price to pay for this. And I have to say that it goes very, very well with Gouda cheese and Monterey Jack cheese and a pizza. I think it goes very well with all of those. So next week, I have a couple options here next week. Excelsior. Excelsior is a cab, also from Wine Store. There are a few options. We'll think about it. I'll think about it over during the course of the week. In the meantime, I want everyone to remember you can catch the podcast after the fact at drinkwithrick.com. You can also contact me at rick@savoyamedia.com. That's rick at SAVOIAMEDIA.com. See, I haven't had too much of this. I can still do that. And you can also hear the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, your Alexa, the Google Home smart speaker. You can hear us on iTunes. Not iTunes. What do you call that thing? TuneIn. Maybe I have too much of this. You can catch it on a lot of different venues. And you can also contact me at rick@savoyamedia.com. Tell me what you would like to see me drink. If you have any recommendations, send them. If you have a bottle of wine that you'd like for me to try, send it. Yes, send me a bottle of wine. I'm open for that. I'll give you a nice plug. Okay. Anyway, thank you very, very much for joining me on the Wine Stream tonight. And I hope to see you next week on the Saturday Night Winestream, when we can all get together and drink with Rick. Good night, everyone.